Back in the playoffs and taking on the LA Kings. Let's give you the tale of the tape from the regular season. These two teams splitting their four-game series. Just 9 goals scored. And I say just 9 because we know the Oilers with 97 and 29 can put up the offense with the best of them. They are the two best in the league when it comes to that department. Just 9 goals in those 4 games. Look at the power play, though. Clear advantage for the LA Kings despite a historic season power play-wise for the Edmonton Oilers. Kels, when you look at this one from, maybe the 32,000-foot perspective, it just feels like great offense going up against really good defense in this series.
Couldn't agree with you more, JMO, and that's why I've been excited to watch this series, hoping for about a month that this is what it would be, a rematch of the first round last season. And I don't know how many people gave the LA Kings much of a shot last year, but they were up 3-2. They took them 7. McDavid and Draisaitl popped in the last 2, but the Kings almost did it. So I look at this series, and I think, look, Edmonton is so much better. But the Kings, there is a path to victory there. And the one thing the Edmonton Oilers are going to have to deal with the LA Kings is fighting through that neutral zone 1-3-1 that they play. Now, the Oilers average almost 4 goals a game this year. They never scored 4 goals in any of their 4 games against LA. It will be a lower scoring series. Look at all these controlled breakouts from the season series. So here's what LA will do when they're set defensively. 1, 3 across the blue line, 1. That's how they try to jam teams that are quick, that are dangerous up in the neutral zone. You do it here, you force an icing. So what do you do if you're Edmonton trying to work around this? Because they load up those 3 guys on the blue line, and teams have been doing this for a long time. You can turn pucks over in the neutral zone there. Well, you can chip it in. Little same side dump in. They play with so much structure, and they have so much support from their forwards where they can make a quick little outlet pass, boom, boom, get the puck out of the ice. Oh, okay, different type of dump in. Why don't we rim it around? Go that way. Again, someone's on the wall. They got good outlet opportunities to get the puck out clean, and they do this really, really well. How else can we dump it in? What's left? Maybe let's go cross ice, dump. See what happens. Same thing. Doughty, chip play, boom, support on the walls. You got a lot of LA Kings bodies around there. Get the puck out. Of all the controlled breakouts Edmonton had in the 4 games against the LA Kings this season, this was their best scoring chance. Dylan Holloway. That was it. Wow. So now Edmonton can create a lot of offense with speed in other ways, but in terms of controlled breakouts and trying to fight through that 1-3-1, that's what it frustrated them a lot of the series last year. You talk about defense, offense. Since the trade deadline, the Kings are the second best team allowing inner slot shots. That's where half the goals come from. Edmonton's the best. Rush chances, Kings defend it better than anybody else. Lowest expected goals of any team, Edmonton's got the highest. And then goals for and against, LA second. Edmonton first 4. So this really is a true test of offense versus defense. It's why this series went 7 games last year. The Kings, will they have Fiala? Will they have Velarde? It'll really help them if they do. But no matter what, Billy, they're going to have to fight through that traffic in the neutral zone if they want to create that rush offense they love so much.
There's one interesting way. It is tough. That 1-3-1 is one of the toughest, stingiest ways to play. And if you were Edmonton, you might have to develop some sort of sustained forechecking pressure, which is not exactly your forte against LA. And you got to go up against Anze Kopitar and Philip Deneau, 2 of the 2 best two-way centermen in the game, and they can offset not just having one centerman or one line play against McDavid. They can have a couple lines go head-to-head. They're that kind of depth offensively. One breakout that might work for Edmonton, curious to see if they try to use it in the playoffs, is what you see teams do on the power play, is where you see one guy carry it up into the neutral zone and throw it back to the trailer. And now you have everyone flat-footed. A lot of those examples you showed is you saw McDavid coming up the half wall, everyone coming up with speed and just kind of playing into that trap. If you throw someone up that half wall and just let McDavid trail as late as possible and then throw it back to him now and say, go attack these
He does that well.
Go attack these guys flat-footed.
Yeah.
And have another guy and one guy coming with another speed in case he gets jammed up, and either just carry it in or try and chip it into himself. It's one way that maybe you can get back. The only other way against that 1-3-1 is that you're going to have to go up against the wall, and you will have to throw up and try and go up the other side. It's if you want to get chances off the rush, because once that side, if you bring it up on that 1-3-1 and they close that, what you're trying to do in a 1-2-1 or 1-3-1 trapping style is you're trying to cut the ice in half.
Yeah.
And just squeeze everyone into that one square area of ice where you force them to dump it in. If they can make some if they can watch tape and make some adjustments,
oh, they will.
There are ways to get around it. I'm interested to see if Edmonton can get around it. If it does develop into that kind of series, the longer it goes, the more LA stands a chance of winning it.
I agree, and a couple things that stand out. And again, you read into a season series whatever you want. This is playoffs. It all resets. I was talking to a Stanley Cup former coach today, and I asked him, how do you beat Boston? And he just said, you don't even look. It starts in game one, and you adjust from there. So it all starts fresh, right?
Clean slate.
In the season series, Edmonton averaged 2.25 goals a game, right? We talked about they're up around 4 for their season average. The power play didn't score in 3 of the 4 games.
It's crazy.
And LA outscored them on the power play 4-2. So this, all I'm saying is, like, I'm not picking LA, and I want to pick LA. I love good defensive hockey. I love the way they play. But
it's a good matchup.
It's not going to be easy for the Edmonton Oilers, who a lot of people think could win the West outright.
Speaking of the Oilers, you think back to the trade deadline and all the rumors, right? They were out there. They wanted to get a defenseman. Who were we talking about? Jacob Chychrun, Erik Karlsson. Neither one ended up going there. Who did? Matthias Ekholm. Could that move, could that fit have gone any better for this team?
It could not. If you look at the numbers that he's been able to put up, and he is plus 28 with 14 points in 21 games. Plus 28
That's absurd.
In 21 games. That's the biggest, the guy that's made the biggest difference in the trade deadline is Ekholm, and he is, to go along, he's 6'4", 210 pounds. You look at their other defensemen, Darnell Nurse, 6'4", Bouchard 6'3", CC 6'2". This is a big blue line. They're not necessarily overly physical, but with long reach and long sticks, you can defend. And Ekholm is going to lead by example. This defense becomes that much more formidable for the Oilers. Maybe a weakness now becomes a strength for them with Matthias Ekholm. Ekholm could be that X factor in the playoffs that they didn't have last year as far as that defensive structure and being better as a group defensively and just letting your offensive guys go. But when you go back to when St. Louis won their Stanley Cup and you look at their defensemen, how Parayko and Bouwmeester and Pietrangelo and Bertuzzo, how long their reach was and how long they were able to defend. All those guys were not overly physical, punishing. But when you have that size and that reach and that you can make up for, you can miss a step. But when you're 6'4", you got that extra reach that you can recover from. Edmonton, with that size on defense and with that mobility, now with the addition of Ekholm, they will be better defensively and they'll be better in their own end in this playoff series.
And those are big guys. A lot of them can move too. They can skate. They can move the puck well. Ekholm. And one way to look at it potentially with Ekholm is you really got 3 players when you got Ekholm, because you lighten the load on Darnell Nurse, and now he can be stronger. And how much better has Evan Bouchard been?
Well, remember the power play? It was like, oh, that power play, it's historic, but they lose Tyson Barrie. Well, Bouchard's
he's been fine, and he's been better at 5-on-5 with Ekholm as well. So there's a ripple effect. And that board really is a good board you showed there that illustrates the size of these guys. And that won't be fun to play against.
Kings Oilers, who are you taking?
I'm going to go with the Oilers.
Okay.
I'll take the Oilers in the series. It's going to be a coin toss down to a game. It's going to go, to me, 7 games. It's
all we can ask for.
It's going to be that kind of series. And then when you get into game 7, anything can happen. Point toss. But it's going to be one of those series that's going to be a good bounce here, an overtime winner there. That's going to be the separation. These teams are that close. Yeah. And also, too, the health. You talked about it. Fiala. And Velarde. Those 2 guys have to be healthy for LA.
Fiala's a X-factor series potentially changing dynamic forward. Like, that's huge.
That's their offense right there.
I just hate that one of these teams are going to be gone. I like watching both of them.
Offense, defense. You could say that about a couple of series.
Yeah, you definitely could.
As well.